Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful Saturday morning out here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope all of you guys are ready for your weekend. Today, we're going to be talking about the JP news that came out yesterday morning, actually. It's going to be featuring Engelbert, Serjes, and Fina's EX. We're also going to talk about the two new 3-star Espers that came out, Siren and Ochu. Let's go ahead and dig in. Everybody is talking about Engelbert right now, and I think rightfully so, because Engelbert with his EX has become an absolute beast. Taking a look at his EX stats, he has an increase of almost 1,000 just from getting his EX job stats, and with his levels, he's getting about 400. That's an increase of 1,400 HP. He's also getting 6 agility on his EX board stats. It's hard to go wrong. Now, this would be good just on its own, but they did the unthinkable. They did give him a native ability enmity upgrade, which we'll get into here in just a second. But let's talk about his passives first. Let's take a look at his upgrade to Paladin's Blessing. He's going to get healing power 20 for himself. Not a huge upgrade, but let's be honest, with the amount of HP you're going to be able to build him to, it's going to be nice to have. Now, he is going to get an upgrade to Immortal Spirit. And if you aren't familiar with Immortal Spirit, that is his Guts ability. So the upgrade to Immortal Spirit, when he uses it, is going to give him 12 enmity for himself, which is a large chunk of enmity. This upgrade alone would have made EX Engelbert worth it. But he's getting all of the love, it feels like, from Gummy, because his level 25 ability, Revenge Drain, increases defense penetration 50 for self, 175% modifier attack that increases damage as HP decreases, and absorbs 50% of the damage done. Not only is he going to have a huge amount of HP, he's going to have a drain capability, he's going to have guts, and it's just going to be awesome. Like, he's amazing. I'm really curious if he is going to become the main or best tank in JP. And for me and for global players alike, personally, I will never forget the scourge that was Engelbert in the beginning of the game. And it just looks like Engelbert is going to be coming back to ruin all of our lives with his new EX upgrade. Let's talk about the next unit that got his EX upgrade, Serjes. Now, Serjes is actually a unit I enjoy. If you aren't familiar with Serjes, he's kind of like a paladin-y, very defense-oriented unit that is focused on, you know, spear stuff. And being an ice unit, he can also equip the Ice Lance, which makes him even more powerful, right? Because he has the capability to equip a weapon, which gives him Ice Attack plus 30. So for that reason alone, I've really enjoyed using Serjes in the past. Taking a look at his stats, he does get an additional 400 HP, and he gets an additional 857 HP. That's a lot. That's about 1200 HP more than he had previous. He doesn't get any more agility. He gets an additional 220 from his EX board stats, attack 20, defense 2. Like, okay, that's great. He's still an SR unit, right? He's not going to change the meta or do anything crazy. Well, his upgrade is going to be an upgrade to his passive support ability, Secret of Piercing or Pierce Attack plus 15. It's going to increase defense debuff resistance 100. Like, okay, that's pretty good. If you consider that he's a unit that specializes in defense and tanking physical damage, it makes sense, and there is probably going to be a niche use for him, maybe in a PvE setting in the future. His upgrade to Sharp Spear, for those that don't know what Sharp Spear is, it's the best critical hit rate boosting ability in the game. So it gives critical hit rate 38 and attack 38%. What Serjes is going to get on top of that now is 20 defense for 3 turns and 20 spirit for 3 turns. That is really good. And it's not even one of those things where it's like, you know, yeah, you know, our SREX unit got kind of like an okay upgrade. Like, this is really good. We also have his level 25 ability, which basically turns him into Glaciella. It is going to be Leap Flight, which is going to move unit to target panel. It is going to deal that cross-shaped damage attack, very similar to Glaciella. It is going to have a 25% chance to inflict slow. It's also going to grant him 10% regen. So this is just, I don't know, I think it makes Serjes much more viable, very powerful, very unique. And I think it's very appropriate that he gets that leap strike capability, right? Because of course, he's tied intimately to Glaciela's storyline, and that's Glaciela's kind of, I would say, her signature technique. So it's kind of cool that we get to see him have that. And I'm wondering if we're going to see maybe something change in the storyline, right? We also have Fina's EX. Now, Fina's EX is a little interesting. It's not, you know, when I think about Fina, I don't think about like an incredible unit, as terrible as that sounds. I think about faith modification, right? That's what I use Fina for. So Fina gets 500 more HP, 200 from the unit stats, an additional 2 agility, an additional 48 magic, which is pretty good, an additional 2 initial AP, which is pretty good. Overall, you know, it's okay. I would say not the end of the world. She gets 69 magic from her job stats. Like, okay, all right, we can do that. Her EX form, you know, it gets 226 magic, which if you look, previously her max magic was 97 and it jumps to 226. She's getting an additional 48 from her EX board stats. She's getting 69 from her job levels. So she's getting a lot more magic. Taking a look at her skills, of course, to go alongside with this, she's going to get an increase in healing power to her range 1 shooting attack. So, of course, that's relevant, right? Increasing healing power, of course, makes sense if you're increasing a unit's magic, because magic is one of the only ways to directly impact the quality of heals that you are sending and receiving. She's also going to get an upgrade to Curago, which dispels all status ailments for allies. Now, this is pretty good. I'm kind of curious if it's all status ailments or if it's maybe like a select few. The wording says all status ailments, so for now I'm going to say it's all status ailments. I'm really curious about this. I would love to see more, and I would like to see this in action, because if it can dispel all status ailments, that's pretty good, right? We also have Sparkle Shower, which, I mean, I'm down for a Sparkle Shower, Fina. Also known as Donald Trump's favorite thing to do in a bedroom. Sparkle Shower is going to be a 165% modifier attack, and it's going to decrease accuracy 43 for 3 turns to target. I mean, again, this is not, you know, life-changing. It's just Fina doing Fina things, right? Like, that's kind of what I feel like when I'm looking at Fina. It's Fina doing Fina things. Kind of cool, nice upgrade. You know, it's Fina doing Fina things. Let's talk about the Espers, because the Espers are really interesting, specifically Siren. The reason Siren's so interesting, Siren got the traditional water attack bonus, right? But Siren also got decreases activation skill time. And she didn't just get a little bit of decreased activation skill time. She got a lot. So in total, she got 200 decreases activation skill time. That is extremely substantial. If you consider most of the cast spells at like Flare, for example, are 200, this is basically making a spell cast at 800 instead of 1,000. That's almost an entire cycle sooner for casting those high tier spells. Pair this with like speed casting, and all of a sudden some of your spells are going to be really close to breaking that kind of cast window, or breaking into that into new cycles, essentially, right? Because a lot of times when we have cast time and we have different cycles for casting, a lot of times cast time reduction doesn't really do anything unless you can stack a significant amount for it, or unless it makes a spell or an ability that you're going to be using a lot cycle sooner, right? Most of the time, you are like either just at the threshold or pushing over, or you don't have enough. So with Siren now, this is going to be really powerful, but I think it's not necessarily for casters as much as it is for Dragoons. And I think about things like Dragon Dive, Jump, Vertical Jump, being able to have that decreased skill activation time on them is going to substantially make them go faster. And if you think about other units that have jumps that might be, you know, needing this or using this, it's just going to be amazing. I would love to see sort of like a Siren Dragoon build in the future, focused on trying to get the jumps out a cycle sooner or as fast as possible, because the moment that you can do that, the AI is going to be using jumps more frequently, and it's something I would love to see. Now, we also have Ochu. Ochu's a little weird. But when isn't he weird? Ochu gives defense up, which is kind of cool. Very thematic, right, with Earth Elemental Espers. So Ochu is going to be kind of like a magical, defensive, lightning and wind resistance kind of monster. He also has additional critical hit rate, so he gets plus 15 critical hit rate. He has some slash resistance in there. It really, in my mind, solidifies Ochu. I actually feel like Ochu is a better Esper defensive-wise than Warmech right now. Maybe not because of the base stats, or maybe for like mages, like for Kilthay, potentially. But right now, it definitely solidifies Ochu's role as like a defensive magic Esper. I kind of feel like Ochu kind of occupies that same space as Demon Wall, right? Where Demon Wall is kind of that dark elemental unit, or, you know, kind of that dark resistance or light resistance, whatever you want on Demon Wall, right? Like Demon Wall can be kind of like slated to be defensive against almost anything, and I feel that way with Ochu. One of the drawbacks with Ochu, his agility is only 11. You do get also 20% confusion resistance. That's good as well. And while we're on the topic of stats, Siren's stats, she does get an additional agility. So Siren's agility is going to be at 19, and she's going to get immobilized 25% resistance. So overall, pretty good there. All right, you guys, in terms of other JP news, if you haven't heard, the 1.5-year anniversary is also coming out on the JP side. I heard there was a little kersnuffle. People were upset online, which, I mean, it's the internet, because people saw King Mont on the 1.5-year anniversary, and they got like upset about it because they thought JP was getting a free King Mont. Even if they did get a free King Mont, does it matter? I feel like not really. Anyway, everybody, hope you're all going to have a great rest of your Saturday. If you want me to keep doing JP news videos and updates like this every week, I got a lot of good positive reception last week on our FF7 kind of update and keeping an eye out. Let me know. Throw a comment down in the comment section down below. If you do want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. I do this for a living, and it is one of those things that just really helps me out if you do use that. And as always, everybody, have a great rest of your day.